I basically just starve myself and dehydrate myself. I really was like, I got to put everything into this punch. And then
basically you retired 4 different guys without even fighting them yet. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. On this episode, I talked to MMA fighter Nathan Ayers, one of my former boarding school students. So we talk about his fights, his preparation for the fights, diet. We talk about his motorcycle accident where he lost his memory and didn't remember any of the college classes that he had taken for a whole semester. My first question to him was, how did he get into fighting in the first place?
I started lifting. You know how I started getting like beefed up and everything, and was lifting and was super consistent with that. So I gained a lot of muscle, and I just felt like ever since boarding school, ever since Shelterwood, I stopped playing high school sports. And so that kind of took, and as you know, I'm a very competitive individual when it comes to certain things. And so, yeah, pretty much anything. I'm super competitive. And so I wanted to push myself and compete and see how I did against other people. I just wasn't sure which sport I wanted to do, because college football, like normally you get scholarships, or lacrosse, normally you get scholarships, and you got to go through the whole process of like, applying for college and all that stuff. And so I didn't really want to do all that. And I was on Instagram, and I saw these reels on Instagram of MMA stuff, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Because I had done Taekwondo. I'm a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo, but I was like, I think 8 when I got my black belt. So I had a little bit of martial art experience, but not like to that extent. And so I did some research. I was like, what's the best mixed martial art to start with? Is it boxing? Is it kickboxing? Is it jiu-jitsu? Is it wrestling? And from what I found on the internet was saying that jiu-jitsu is a good place to start. And so I just looked up jiu-jitsu gyms in St. George, and I found a gym called Fusion MMA, and they had jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. And so I was like, oh, heck yeah. Okay. So moved down to St. George for college. I get there, and the first thing before I even go to the school is I went to the MMA gym and was like, hey, I'm new. I'd like to get started. And they're like, welcome. Let us beat you up for the next couple of months and see how you like it. So that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, how'd you get in shape for fighting? Like, I mean, it's probably a lot different than just normal getting in shape.
It's very rigorous, I would say. So I've had 3 fights. My first fight, I did my own conditioning and got prepped for it. So basically, I knew going into the fight that there was 3 2-minute rounds, and so I'd run on the treadmill I'd set the timer for 2 minutes, and I'd do that 3 times just to kind of emulate a 3-round fight. And I'd put the treadmill on like incline, so it's a steep incline, and I'm running, and I did that, and I was just lifting and training. My second fight, I actually joined an actual fight camp through a place called Phoenix PI. And there's a certified personal trainer there named Hector, or an athletic trainer, sorry. His name's Hector, and he put me through an 8-week camp, and it was 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And Monday, Wednesday were strength and conditioning, and then Friday was conditioning. So we do what was called an assault bike. We do hill sprints. We do sled pushes. And so it is different because in a fight, you are using your entire body. It's not just legs. It's not just arms. So you have to like condition the muscles of each muscle group to the best that you can.
How many fights have you had so far?
3.
So I've seen 2 of them on YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
I'm actually going to put them in this, like, at least highlights of it or something.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But Luke Foxley.
Sierra MMA's Nate Ayers in the red. This featherweight kickboxing bout to start up Fierce Challenger Series 8 is brought to you by El Mariachi Mexican Food, authentic Mexican dishes that have conquered the hearts and bellies of countless food lovers. El Mariachi Mexican Food, an official sponsor of Fierce FC.
Blake, can I just say I love the leopard print shorts that Nate Ayers is wearing tonight.
We got them off the screen right now, but they're going to pop into frame right there. Yep. Look absolutely wonderful to kick off Fierce Challenger Series 8. A flurry to start. Foot on the gas for Ayers.
It looks like Ayers was going for a takedown there. It looked like Nate got caught there.
Some flurries in the phone booth. Ayers lands a takedown, wasn't allowed to. We're going to get a quick warning from Tyler Tomlinson. Tyler Tomlinson busy tonight, 9 assignments. He will be in the cage for every single fight here tonight.
The adrenaline's going with these two. They were ready to go at it.
Bout slated for 3 2-minute rounds. Again, Ayers in the red gloves, Foxley in the blue. Back to the action we go.
Nice shots landed by Nate Ayers. Big shots landed by Nate Ayers.
Another separation from Tyler Tomlinson. Big side kick landed. Drops Foxley. Ayers gets a pop from the Heber crowd. Loading into that really heavy, Jason.
Yeah, you can see a little Joe Haro in Nate with the way he's moving to side.
Down he goes, and that's it. Nate Ayers in the first round. That's it. Tyler Tomlinson's going to call it. Nate Ayers capitalizes on the kickboxing debut.
You kind of rush in and like just you go kind of crazy in the beginning. That's exactly how I'd expect you to do it, though. Yeah. You know, like I just remember like at Shelterwood getting into wrestling matches with you, Ben, and you always are like, you know what? I could beat most kids' asses here because I'm a grown adult. And then you go, you're the only one that is like, I would need some assistance to like restrain. Yeah, because like Roland and people like that, I would grab in like this like headlock thing and just like lay down. Yeah. Like they'd have to tap out. Oh yeah. But I could like run into you and it wouldn't budge you at all. You'd just like stand there and I'd be the one to like get knocked. I know. Your dad said in your graduation speech, like, he's like, you were born with a 6-pack is what he said. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. So did you have any stories or any thoughts or anything on that, on the 2 fights? Well, I guess you had 3, but the Foxley one? Yeah. So basically, one story that comes to mind is that going into the fight, I hadn't been with the gym that I'm currently at right now, called Sierra MMA. I've been there for about 6 months before I picked up the fight, so I didn't really know like the gym very well. So I was super nervous, and I didn't know what they were expecting of me. And so that's kind of where you saw that frantic energy kind of just going nuts out the gate. But prior to that, we're in the back warming up, and the kickboxing fight which was the Luke Foxley one, was we were supposed to have 10 ounce gloves, but the commission forgot our gloves. And I know, I'm like,
how do you forget the gloves of a kickboxing fight? Like, what the heck? And so luckily we both had brought our own gloves. And so they were 16 ounces. So it was a whole 6 ounces added to the glove. And so I was like, well, what the heck? You know, like 16 ounces, you're not typically knocking people out in 16 ounces because they're so padded. So I was like, well, what the heck, you guys? How am I supposed to knock this guy out with 16 ounces? And they're like, yeah, you just got to hit him hard. And I was like, well, okay. And so I get in there and I'm like, I'm punching him. I'm hitting him hard. I'm like, this isn't doing anything. And then the one that got him, I really was like, I got to put everything into this punch. And it finally sat him down. Yeah, that's a cool story there.
What about the Lizalde?
May 31st of this year, longer layoff for Ayers. Straight into the kicking we go, unending movement on both sides.
Good takedown defense there from Ayers.
2 years in a row in which we have lost a decal inside the cage. Dave Seljestad, the hero in that process. Stuck on the foot of Lizalde as Ayers on top. I was just talking to Dave about that literally 5 minutes ago.
Better than having the door fly open, that's for sure.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about that one.
Nate doing a good job here keeping that top pressure, keeping him controlled a little bit. I'd like to see Michael start utilizing some inside frames and not necessarily giving Nate a hug on the ground. Start creating some space and some movement so that could allude to him getting out.
Nate Ayers also talking about this with Pedro Sierra in the back. The first MMA fighter out of Sierra MMA other than the name Joel Haro, who's sitting right next to me right now.
Yeah, we're slowly building our fight team there at Sierra MMA. We got a lot of fighters wanting to make their debuts, and of course Kiwi out of Sierra as well.
Got some kickboxers.
Yeah.
We did mention that as well. There's definitely some kickboxers that have come out of that gym, but primarily the MMA rule set. You and are the only ones on that list.
Yes, sir. So far, both of us are the first ones to fight out of Sierra, and I'm very excited to see where Nate goes in his fighting career for sure.
Ayers slows down the fight early with a takedown and remaining committing to the game plan thus far. Already well past the halfway of round number 1 in which Ayers is tallying up the control time.
Absolutely. I'd like to see Nate start posting on his face to start breaking his grip around his neck so then he can start raining down some ground and pound punches there.
Making his weight well known with that elbow on top, but not necessarily a choking pressure, more so just annoying than anything, Joel.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of my least favorite positions to be in while grappling, let alone with punches being thrown for sure. It looks we had a tap.
With that, Nate Ayers, he's going to move to 1-1.
That was a short fight short notice fight. So they're like 2 weeks before the fight even happened. They're like, hey, we got you a fight. Because ever since the Luke Foxley fight, it's been very difficult to find opponents who want to fight me. I've had 4 fights that have fallen through because of excuses on the other end. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so they finally find me this fight. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do it. It was 2 weeks short notice, but as like a MMA fighter, the best thing that you can do is just to be always training, always be prepared. That way, once you do get phone calls that are 2 weeks out, you're like, okay, let's do it. The only thing like about that is the weight cut. Now, a lot of people don't talk about the weight cut, but it's pretty brutal. So I'm walking around at like 165, 170, and then I cut weight to 145. So it's quite a bit of weight cut there.
How do you lose weight that fast?
Yeah, so starving myself.
Which you're not doing now.
Nope. I am feasting. But yeah, caloric deficit. So just kind of cutting back on the calories and just kind of taking like cutting down my food portions slightly leading up to the fight. And then week before the fight, water loading. So I'll drink 2 gallons of water. And then for the first day, and then the second day I drink 1 gallon of water. And then the third day I drink a half a gallon. The fourth day I drink a quarter gallon. The fifth day I drink 32 ounces. And then the sixth day I don't drink any more water. During all that, I'm sweating as much as possible. I'm in the sauna. And so I'm just kind of getting rid of all that water weight. And so I basically just starve myself and dehydrate myself.
What makes you want to do this yet?
I don't know. I love it. I guess that's the only thing I can say is that I really do love it. It's just the training, the fighting, but mainly the training part of it. Like the community of the gym and being a part of something bigger, you know? Kind of like church in a sense, but a little bit more intimate and less preachy. But, you know, like you go to church and you got your church members next to you and they support you and help you through hard times and you support them. And that's kind of the same thing with the MMA community is that we're super tight knit. We have each other's backs. I mean, we're quite literally punching each other in the face and then hugging each other after class, you know? So we work through a lot of stuff that's like nonverbal communication between individuals, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you went to college. Do you have another job that you do too?
Yeah. So I went to college. Originally, I was going to college to go to medical school. That didn't work out. So I graduated with my associates in science, and then I moved down to Dixie State for my bachelor's in biomedical. But December 2 years ago, I got into a motorcycle accident. I was hit on my motorcycle, and I tore my knee apart. I tore my ACL, MCL, and meniscus, and then I lost consciousness because I smashed into the car and I hit my head on the dash, and so it gave me a severe concussion, and that was like during finals week of school. So I was taking biomedical, math, statistics, physics 2, ecology, like some pretty intensive classes. And I couldn't remember any of it after the crash. So basically, like the whole semester, everything that we're studying, just gone. I just couldn't remember any of the information. And so I was sitting there, I was studying for hours and hours, and after, I couldn't remember any of it because of this brain injury. And so my grades dropped significantly, and that kind of put me out of the GPA range of med school. And I didn't really want to take those classes again because they're expensive, and 2, they sucked. And so I switched my major. I switched it over to health science, and I ran with that. And so now I'm graduating this spring with my bachelor's degree in health science.
Wow.
And, yeah.
That would get you what, like a physical trainer type of job? Or?
Exactly, yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm a personal trainer. And so I work with individuals to lose weight, gain muscle, and improve their overall quality of life.
Do you still ride motorcycles? Good.
Fuck no, I'm good on that. Yeah, Carrie, I was following the laws. I was going the speed limit. I was in my lane, and a lady just decided that it was her turn and pulled out right in front of me. And, I was on my way to work, regular afternoon, same road that I've traveled hundreds of times. And just that day was different. That second was different. So, yeah, I do not ride motorcycles, especially now, like, since me and my wife moved up here from southern Utah. Southern Utah is a lot more smaller than up north, like Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City has way more traffic, way more, vehicles on the road, and just way more people in general. So it's too risky. It's not worth it.
You came back from your motorcycle injury though, like 4 months after, and started fighting again. Though I like I said, I study you guys when I'm doing
That's right.
a podcast for you. So yeah, I saw that you came back 4 months after your motorcycle wreck. Your girlfriend did not advise that, and the hospital did not advise it.
No. Yeah. So my wife, she's going to school at the U. And that's why we moved up north, is because she got a scholarship for athletic training. And so she's in it. So she knows about ACL injuries. She's had herself 3 knee surgeries because she's also a cheer coach. So in cheer, she broke her knee, had to get surgery, came back, and then like a few months later, broke her other knee, had to get surgery, came back too early, and then broke it again and had to get surgery again. So she was like she was advocating that I take my time and slow it down, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't.
So both of y'all are kind of wild.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you found your fit then. I mean, like a physical trainer girl that is also a little bit crazy too.
She sounds like she might be a little crazy, but she's actually very like super calm and collected. She is like kind of not polar opposite of me, but she definitely keeps me anchored in that sense. Like I'm not like she's more like I'm like okay, like, and that's because she holds it down.
What are your goals in fighting?
My goals in fighting, they're not necessarily goals for fighting, like fighting other people, but like from like training perspective, to be able to assist and help others. Just kind of the same thing that I'm doing as a personal trainer, but maybe, one day own my own MMA gym or work for an MMA gym as a coach or something like that, like a striking coach or a jiu-jitsu coach or something. Like long term, ideally, I would be owning like my own MMA gym. Would be like long-term goal for fighting.
Cool. You don't want to get into like UFC?
I'm not like fighting to get to somewhere, but mainly just to test myself and test the waters and see the progression that myself and that the gym has, that progression, that, all the training and seeing like where I fall competing against other people in that sense. And if that, gets me to the UFC, hell yeah. Fuck yeah. I'd love to be in the UFC. That'd be awesome.
You would think people couldn't reject a fight. Like if they said you're fighting this guy, then it seems like you're fighting that guy. Seems like you couldn't make excuses and get out of it.
Nope. And so a lot of the guys who are like, hey, like the 4 guys that pulled out, they haven't fought for the promotion since they've pulled out because they are kind of like bitches for that. You know what I mean? Like,
so basically you retired 4 different guys without even fighting them yet.
Yep, pretty much.
That's hilarious and crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So what else do you have going on in your life?
Got married.
Yeah. Tell us about that. I don't know anything about your you and your girlfriend. So
My wife.
your wife.
Yes. Yeah. So I met Callie. Her name's Callie Jean. And we met in southern Utah, bowling. And so I thought she was pretty cute, you know, and then I was like, hey, what's your number? And so we started dating, and pretty much after the first date, I pretty much was like, yeah, this is the one. You know, that inevitable force that draws you to that person. I feel like it, for me, that's how it felt. Like it felt like this, like a magnet. And I'm just like, I don't ever want to be with anybody else type of feeling until, 4 years after marriage. No, I'm just kidding. Until she starts telling me to clean up my shit. No.
I used to try to get my coworker to make this joke. It's a joke I came up with, but I can't use it because I'm not married. Be like, when you're at a party or something, introduce your wife and be like, what's your wife's name?
Callie.
Be like, my first wife, Callie. Like, it's like, because technically,
I would get murdered on site.
Because technically, she is your first wife.
Technically, yes, but I would not be walking out of there.
Makes it sound like you're married to somebody else. Like she's your first wife.
And then they're probably just staring at you like, wait, what?
I tried so hard to get my coworker to. He's like, oh yeah, I will. He's like, and then he but when he went home, he's like. He came back and he was like, I told my wife that joke. She thought it was so funny. I'm like, no, that's not. You're supposed to make the joke. You're not supposed to tell her about the joke.
Right.
He's like, no, I can't do that. She'd kill me.
Smart man.
But yeah, let's see. So yeah, you're always posting the on Snapchat or whatever. You've always been posting like your little brother for like years and years now.
Oh yeah.
Like, where did he get? Like, I need a video to put that on there. But where did he get that goofy belly dance thing that he does? He's done it for years.
I know. I don't know. He just naturally he just likes to grab his body and do all the rolls and stuff. I'm like, nobody taught him that. He just did that himself. And that's kind of what makes him so great. Is just he's just a funny guy like that.
How old is he now?
He turned 16 in July.
See, how old are you?
26.
26. I can never remember. So yeah, there's a big age difference, but you guys are super close, even with that big old age difference.
Oh yeah, I mean, right before our wedding, I helped him set up he asked a girl to homecoming. So I took him to the house or the girl's house, and he set up the sign and everything. And it's crazy how time flies. I mean, when you saw us, he was like 4 or 5, small guy, little Aiden. And now I just don't know where the time goes, Carrie. What the heck?
It's funny because the same thing I'm doing with you, you're old now and you're doing this stuff you're doing with him. You're like it's kind of funny. You're experiencing the same thing I am with you.
For real, full circle. But you also have
you're adopted, so you have like blood family that you met too in St. Louis.
Yeah. So luckily enough, adopted at birth. My mom, my adoptive mom, not the one who adopted me, but my birth mom. She passed away when I was like 2. And so I was still in contact with my Nana. She'd send birthday cards and Christmas cards and things like that. And so I knew of her. I knew who Nana Banana was. But we didn't actually get to meet until I was in 8th grade. So 8th grade, we fly out to Missouri for my oldest brother Ethan's wedding. He got married. I met my whole immediate family out there, and luckily enough, under the circumstances, being shipped to boarding school, they happened to be in Missouri, and so we kind of started rekindling that, and now my birth brother Arkell, he got married. I was in his wedding. This was like 2 years ago, right when I met Callie. And he just had his first son, Ollie, and now he's playing professional football in Canada for the Canadian Bucks.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, and now my other brother Ethan is getting married, and then my sister Asia, she just had another baby as well. So now I'm uncle to 4. And like 2 years ago, it was 2, but now it's 4.
Your mom's name was Sharon, and when me and you hung out, we went to Florida. You got a tattoo with it was like a rose with.
That's right.
And it used to be more colorful, didn't it? And then the color kind of got out of it a little bit.
A little bit. I might get it touched up, but I still love it.
Yeah,
that was I was thinking about that the other day, actually. I was thinking about going to the tattoo shop, and that fucking hurt. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I just remember like the lining of it. I'm like, oh my God, Carrie, get me cigarettes or something. I can't handle the pain.
You were going on, you're like, people say this doesn't hurt. But the guy's like, I didn't say that. He said, this is horror movie shit. This is just a big open wound.
It's quite literally that. Yes. Yeah.
That's why I was shocked when I saw on Instagram. I was just looking through. I always stalk my guests so I can, and you have like this huge tattoo on your chest and arm. Like, what the hell? How'd you manage that? Like that, that's crazy. Like, how did you manage that when like your arm tattoo was killing you?
I don't know. It still fucking hurts, Carrie. There's no denying that. And believe it or not, I'm getting another big tattoo on Saturday. on the other side.
Okay, so wait. We got the Rose of Sharon because your mom's name was Sharon. What are those other tattoos like? What's going on them?
I got some birds. So I got some bird tattoos.
That's cool. What are the birds about?
I don't know. I saw them on Instagram. I was like, yes, please.
Why right there for though? That looks painful as fuck.
It wasn't. It wasn't. The forearm hurt and the other one hurt, but those ones didn't hurt at all.
Huh.
Like, I sat through it. It wasn't even like I wasn't shifty or anything. It was pretty chill, actually.
What are the other ones then? The one on your chest and arm?
That one, so that's a Hanji mask on my chest, and then on the arm is a snake. Originally, I had wanted like a dragon, but the artist was like, that's not traditional. We're going to keep it a snake. And I was like, okay.
Traditional to what? What's he talking about?
Traditional Japanese art. And like usually there's a Hanji mask with a snake. And so, and then literally after like a week after he's all finished and everything, he posts a Hanji mask with a fucking dragon. I'm like, hey, what the fuck, dude?
I think he just felt like doing a snake that day.
Probably.
So what the hell is a Hanji mask?
It's this.
But what is it though? Like, what's a Hanji mask?
It's a So the lore, from my understanding, is a weeping widow. She lost her husband in the war, and she was so guilt-ridden that she turned into a scowling demon.
Wow. And that has significant meaning to you because
None whatsoever.
you just like to get cool tattoos, don't you?
Pretty much.
What's the next one gonna be?
So the next one I kind of came up with, I don't know why, but I just thought of it. I just thought it'd be sick. But basically, so you know how people have like angel wings on their back?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have like an angel wing on my back, but the wing kind of comes down onto the tricep. And then I'm gonna have a piece of like gladiator armor just because of the MMA and the warrior and everything like that. So that has some significance in it. And then, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I was thinking about getting like an angel also on my chest here because I have the demon on this side and then the angel on this side with the angel wing. But it's going to be a pretty big piece. About the same size as this one.
Yeah, sounds like it. So you have kind of an intimidating look now when you get into a cage and you have all the tattoos and all that shit.
Yeah.
And the beard. Where the hell? How'd you grow a beard like that? That's crazy. It's like
I literally don't. Because I had a baby face, Carrie. You know this.
I know. That's why I was like, where the hell did this beard come from?
I'm not kidding you. Like, I think when I started working out, I was like about 20 years old, 21. And so I was still going through puberty, I guess. And then when I was like 22, I started to notice more facial hair. And so I just kind of let it grow out. And then it's actually kind of grown into like a decent beard.
It's decent. It's like a big lumberjack's beard or something.
Yeah, I had no idea I was capable of growing a beard. I didn't think I'd ever be able to grow a beard in my life.
I didn't think you would either.
Yeah, so I think like lifting and working out kind of boosted my testosterone a little bit because they have studies of people who like are younger, like under the age of 26, and their testosterone increases when they start weightlifting. And so I think that had something to do with it.
When you go into a fight, have you watched the other person and you're studying and you have some kind of idea about that, or do you just have a general way that you do it?
No, usually, I mean, you want to know like before a test, you study before the test, and that's kind of how I see it. Is like, we're testing each other's skills. I would like to know what he's capable of. If he's had any fights, I'd like to, if they're up online, try and do my research and figure out, what kind of training they have and what kind of fighting style they have, and if they're good at wrestling or if they're good at striking, or what are some things that you notice. And then I've been blessed with a really good striking coach, and so he can like analyze fights, break it down, slow things down, and explain it into a way that really makes sense. So yes, I watched the video, but I know my striking coach has probably watched it dozens of times, and he brings that information to the gym and creates what we call games, striking games, to reinforce habits that will lead to success during the fights.
That's cool.
So for example, like if he watched the fight and was like, okay, your guy is really heavy on leg kicks, then we might be doing drills that like are avoiding leg kicks or blocking leg kicks and things like that. And then that way, leading into the fight, it becomes like muscle memory. And so when I see a leg kick, boom, that's what I do.
Yeah. I almost asked you a question, but you probably wouldn't want to answer that one. If you were watching yourself on a video, what would be your strategy? like you watch and you see yourself like, but then you probably don't want to give that away to whoever's somebody possibly watching this.
My strategy to beat myself would be to fucking bang, bro. Bang. Just go in there and you know, just go in there as crazy as you can and hope, I guess.
But you go in there as crazy as you can. So like, it seems like you'd want to take an opposite strategy, like try to not let them get to you or something like, I don't know. Because that's your strong suit. You'd be going against yourself with your strong suit.
Right. I feel like I'm like as an amateur fighter who's only had 2 fights for MMA. I feel like I'm decently well-rounded, and so it would take like if I was going up against someone who was like a Division I college wrestler, then that might be a way to beat me by like wrestling me because they've had so many years of wrestling, you know what I mean? But that being said, we wrestled all the time, Carrie, so you know how it is.
Do you make more money if you win the fight, or is it just like you make the same amount either way?
I don't make any money fighting.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
I make very little money. So the way it works for amateurs, until you go pro, you're not making a whole lot. So and that's like a silly thing here in like MMA because it's a new sport. Like when we were at Shelterwood, I didn't know about MMA. I hadn't even heard of it, you know, and then, you know, 5, 6, 7 years later, then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, that's a pretty cool sport. So not a whole lot of people compete in MMA because it's so dangerous and risky. So the jump from amateur to pro isn't that big of a like a gap of skill. And so as of right now, I make my money off of ticket sales. So I make 10% off of ticket sales, and if I sell over $1,000, then I get 20% of all ticket sales. And so I'm usually getting like $150, $200 a fight.
You know, I think I used to tell you that you should be a fighter or something like that back, like way back then. I've told you that before.
A few times, actually.
Finally listened to me. I told you. I mean, you shouldn't be a professional ping pong player because I kicked your ass like over and over and over again.
Whatever. No, I'm pretty sure we're like tied. Because yes, it started out as you whipping my ass in ping pong, but I think towards the end there, I started to catch up.
Thank you. I thought you were going to be like, no, I beat your ass all the time. Thank you. At least you're honest about it. Like,
yeah, I don't know how your unorthodox fucking way just whack.
Just like I do it like just like weird, like it looks like I'm not even like trying, but I am trying. It just doesn't look like it.
No, I'm over here like fucking full tennis mode, and you're just like, doop, doop.
Well, is there anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, I got another fight in November, November 8th. Through Fierce Fighting Championship, we will be live streaming it on YouTube for free. So tune in. That'll be November 8th at 6 p.m. Other than that, not a whole lot. Other than me and my wife are going to Mexico in December.
Oh dang! What are you going to Mexico for?
Our honeymoon.
Dang, that's cool. Yeah. What are you gonna do in Mexico?
Hang out, relax, drink, eat, all the things.
How long are you gonna be there for?
We're gonna be there for like 8 days.
Wow.
So yeah, it'll be nice because she's at school full time and then works part time. I'm also in hair school. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm becoming a barber right now.
So you're fighting, you're personal training. Now you're gonna be barbering too.
Yep.
Renaissance man, just kind of.
Yep. And it's crazy because my barber instructor, the lead instructor, his name's Christopher Moore, and he's from Kansas City.
Oh wow, that is weird.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I asked him this like yesterday. I was like, did you ever go to like the Kansas City Renaissance Fair? And he's like, yeah, all the time. I'm like, yeah, that was honestly so fun.
I forgot we went there. Yeah, we did do that. That's funny.
Yeah.
We did a lot of stuff. Like it's hard to keep up with all the stuff that we did.
I know. So much.
You were like the guy back then. Like everything I did, I took you with me.
Pretty much attached at the hip.
The only thing was that stupid peanut allergy. We had to always have your shit with you.
My EpiPen and inhaler.
And I take you to freaking Five Guys, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. It's not a problem." But that they have peanuts around, and then you have like a peanut reaction and shit. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Oh, and by the way, I don't have a peanut allergy anymore.
Oh, that's weird. It just like what goes away?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you were faking it all along. That's what this is. You're just trying to get me in trouble. And you don't even die. That's crazy.
Nope. So we were freaking out for no reason.
So wait, hold on. You were never actually allergic to it? Is that what you're telling me right now?
No, I was.
Okay.
But I grew out of it. I just grew out of it, I guess.
How do you grow out of it, Al? I didn't even know you could do that.
This, 10 years ago would have killed me. I would have been dead. But now all of a sudden, I can't eat it.
Because your eyes looked crazy when you said that. Now all of a sudden I can eat. But yeah, that's crazy. What the heck? Because we went to Five Guys and you were just around peanuts. You didn't even touch one or eat it or anything. And you had a reaction.
Right.
That's crazy. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know. I still am allergic to like tree nuts, but not
tree
peanuts.
Nuts?
Like cashews, walnuts, pine nuts, but not peanuts.
There's a skit I might splice into this thing. It's like I can't remember who says it, but he's like, yeah, he's like, it's a thing. He's like, of course not, but maybe.
Everybody has a competition in their brain of good thoughts and bad thoughts. Hopefully they win, the good thoughts win. For me, I always have both. I have like the thing I believe, the good thing. That's the thing I believe. And then there's this thing. And I don't believe it, but it is there. It's always this thing and then this thing. It's become a category in my brain that I call, of course, but maybe. I'll give you an example. Okay, like of course, children who have nut allergies need to be protected. Of course. We have to segregate their food from nuts, have their medication available at all times, and anybody who manufactures or serves food needs to be aware of deadly nut allergies. Of course. But maybe if touching a nut kills you, you're supposed to die. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not.
Natural selection. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. That's for sure.
But yeah, cool. Thanks for coming on and talking about a bunch of random shit.
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day.